Hello and welcome to the Adventures of Russell the Canberra series. In this episode we'll be checking out all the episodes from 2019. Enjoy! Now before we check out the Mint, I want to tell you a little bit more about why it was built. In 1901, the Australian Constitution came into effect, which meant the Australian government could make laws in regards of coinage, currency and legal tender, among other things. In 1909, the Coinage Act was passed, which laid the way to the eventual construction of the Mint. But it would take another 50 years before planning would even begin, driven by the desire for the federal government to move to decimal currency. The Mint was originally going to be built in the Parliamentary Triangle near the library, but a site in Deakin was chosen instead. It took 2 years to build, with $5 million spent on the building and a further $4 million spent on equipment, which was the decimalisation's greatest expenditure. And on the 22nd of February 1965, the Royal Australian Mint was officially opened by His Royal Highness Prince Philip. And with that, all systems were go for changeover day on the 14th of February 1966. In order to meet demand, the Royal Australian Mint needed help from the Melbourne Mint, but by 1967, Melbourne was no longer needed, so it was shut down. By 1970, the Mint had made enough stock to start making custom designs, with the first one featuring Captain Cook on this 50-cent coin. Now you're probably wondering, if this is where our coins are made, then where do our notes come from? Well, they are printed by Note Printing Australia in Craigieburn, Victoria, completely separate from the Mint. What if you want to do more than watch my video on YouTube? Well, you're in luck. The Royal Australian Mint is open to the public every day except Christmas Day and Good Friday between 8:30 AM and 5 PM weekdays and 10 till 4 on weekends and public holidays. Entry is free, but times do vary over the holiday period, so check their website for details. Unfortunately, you can't access the operations floor, but an observation deck is available. You can learn heaps of cool facts about our coins and currency in the museum while you take a free guided tour. They also regularly change exhibits. While I was there, I was fortunate enough to meet Mr. Squiggle. And afterwards, you can head down to the shop and buy some coins for your collection. You can even mint your own coin! The Royal Australian Mint plays a huge part in the lives of all Australians, with 15 billion coins being produced since 1965, and 2 million coins being produced daily. If you've enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit the like button, share or comment. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. In 1912, Walter Burley Griffin's plan was chosen for the design of the new capital of Australia. In that plan was an idea to build a rail network to connect residential areas to places of work. But unfortunately, due to 2 world wars and the Great Depression, it never came to be. Fast forward a century and the ACT government announces its plans to introduce a light rail network based on Walter Burley Griffin's original vision. Construction began with a sod turning ceremony at the Mitchell Train Depot in July 2016. The first stage was meant to be operational by late 2018, but was pushed back to early 2019 because of multiple problems plaguing the project. Stage 1 of the light rail cost $707 million, with $67 million of the project coming from the federal government. The first stage is a 12-kilometre route running from the Gungahlin Town Centre down Northbourne Avenue into the city. The route has 13 stops, including at the Dixon Interchange and Epic. The 14-strong fleet of light rail vehicles means you will never have too long to wait, with one coming past every 6 minutes during peak hour. If you're worried about not getting a seat, don't be. Each light rail vehicle measures just under 33 metres long and can carry up to 207 passengers. Now you may have noticed that I've been very careful in calling these light rail vehicles and not trams. And you're probably wondering what the difference is. Really, it's quite simple. Both use rails, but trams operate on the road, like these ones in Melbourne, while light rail uses a dedicated corridor that can be parallel to the road, but not on it. The light rail has been a divisive issue in Canberra for the last couple of years, but with stage 1 now built, I look forward to seeing it grow and to connect Canberrans for years to come. If you have enjoyed this video, please like, comment and share. And if you'd like to see more, hit the subscribe button. In 1968, the federal government ran a design competition to find an architect worthy of designing the National Gallery of Australia. The competition was won by the Sydney firm Edwards, Madigan, Torzillo and Partners. Initial designs had the gallery built up on Capitol Hill, but Parliament House was going to be built there instead, so they moved it down to the foreshore of Lake Burley Griffin, to the northeastern part of the Parliamentary Triangle. Construction began in 1973, and to mark the occasion, Gough Whitlam unveiled this plaque right here. The building cost $83 million and was officially opened by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II on the 12th of October 1982, 1 year after construction was completed. The building is influenced by late 20th century brutalist architecture and is mostly comprised of bush-hammered concrete, as Madigan believed that concrete has as much integrity as stone. Triangles are featured throughout the building, from flooring, staircases and columns, among other features. Extensions were added to the National Gallery of Australia in 1997 and 2006. The gallery has a floor space of approximately 20,500 square metres, with only 7,000 square metres being used for exhibition space. The rest houses staff, storage and facilities used for education, scholarly and public relations functions. As of 2018, the National Art Collection is now valued at $5.9 billion, with 902,731 people visiting that year alone. The gallery exhibits art from around the world and Australia, including Indigenous art, modern and Eastern arts, as well as photography. Outside of the gallery is the Sculpture Garden and James Turrell's Sky Space Within Without, which was installed in 2010. Once you've finished browsing the artworks, you can sit down for a cuppa at one of the cafes or pick up a souvenir or two at the shop. If you'd like to visit the National Gallery of Australia, it is open every day except Christmas Day between 10 AM and 5 PM. Entry is free. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment and share. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. After the devastating bushfires of 2001 and 2003, the ACT government decided to use the 250 hectares of burnt-out land west of the city to create a National Arboretum. Walter Burley Griffin had always intended for there to be an arboretum in Canberra, and this was the perfect opportunity to make it happen. In 2004, the ACT government chose architects Taylor Coulty Leithleen and Tonkin Zuleika Greer to design the arboretum using their 100 forests and 100 gardens concept. Construction began in 2005, and it was the largest sculptured earthworks in the country since the Sydney Olympics. The National Arboretum was officially opened at a dawn ceremony on the 1st of February 2013 by then Chief Minister of the ACT, Katie Gallagher. 15,000 people attended the opening ceremony on the following day, and since then over 1 million people from across the globe have visited the Arboretum. It is home to over 44,000 native and exotic trees from 100 countries, and is one of the largest collections of rare and endangered trees in the world. They were chosen based on their conservation status, symbolic nature, aesthetic value and suitability for the site and climate. Most plantations here are quite young, except for two of the plantations of the Himalaya cedar and the cork oak. The cork oak were planted in the 1910s to help create a cork industry to sustain the young city. The plantation was established by Thomas Weston and is the largest plantation of its type in the Southern Hemisphere, with 4,500 trees. The Arboretum is more than just a forest. It also features a visitor centre, cafe, gift shop, bonsai and penjing pavilion, children's playground, picnic and barbecue areas, outdoor sculptures, amphitheatre, lookouts and a pavilion. It is also home to the AIDS Garden of Reflection, which was built in 2017 to allow visitors to contemplate and reflect on the impacts of HIV/AIDS and to pay respect to those lost to the disease. The Arboretum is open every day except Christmas Day between 7 AM and 5:30 PM during Australian Standard Time and 6 AM to 8:30 PM during Daylight Savings. Entry is free, but there is paid parking between 9 AM and 4 PM. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment and share. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. The first Floriade Festival was held in 1988 to celebrate Canberra's 75th birthday and the bicentenary of European settlement in Australia. It was created by landscape architect Christian Slopemaker de Bruin with assistance from horticulturalist Peter Sutton and was inspired by the Keukenhof Garden in the Netherlands. The first festival was so successful that it has returned every year since with a new theme. Past themes include multiculturalism, games in the garden, Aussie icons, myths and legends, Canberra centenary, and pop culture. Floriade attracts around 500,000 people every year, with half visiting from interstate or overseas. Floriade is held in Commonwealth Park and is the largest flower festival in the Southern Hemisphere, with over 1 million bulbs used. The bulbs are planted as early as April to ensure the gardens are ready for spring. It can take up to 6 weeks to get them all in. During the festival, teams start at 6 a.m. to maintain the flower beds. Floriade has continued to expand over the years. In 2008, the first Night Fest was held, featuring illuminated gardens, live music, comedy performances, acrobatics, and stalls. While entry to Floriade is free during the day, visitors do need to book tickets in advance for Night Fest. Along with stalls and food, the Ferris wheel is always worth a ride. Weighing 80 tonnes and standing at 32 metres tall, it is the best vantage point to see all the flower beds. Floriade is held from mid-September to mid-October each year. Gates are usually open from 9:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m, with last entry half an hour before close. Check the website for tickets to Night Fest. Once the festival's over, volunteers cut up all the flowers and distribute them to hospices, nursing homes and hospitals around Canberra. Commonwealth Park is returned to normal by the end of October. If you've enjoyed this video, feel free to like, comment and share. And if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I wonder where I'll go in 2020.